What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. Today I want to talk about the future of Destiny. I have a really long gameplay on Meridian Bay and Mars, the Bastion level, because I've got a lot to talk about today. And I'm going to flow all over the place because there's a lot of stuff I want to fit into this conversation. So stick with me, sit back, relax, enjoy the gameplay. I'm playing with a couple of guys from the Beastly Thought Show, as well as iMontyX from our Destiny clan. So sit back, enjoy the gameplay, and I'm going to start going with it. So last week, Bungie announced on Bungie.net a patch preview, right? And I think that's pretty cool that they talk about a patch before it actually comes out. What this patch contains, though, is a little bit worrisome to me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's in the patch, and then I'm going to move on to kind of the future of Destiny. So the first thing they talk about is Cryptarch changes, and they have a funny little blurb here. Cade 6 took the Cryptarch outside and showed him a sack of doorknobs. He decoded that mystery pretty quickly. So what they're talking about is the dissatisfaction people have with earning legendary engrams or finding legendary engram drops, bringing them to the Cryptarch only to get rare gear instead of legendary. And this can be heartbreaking, especially if you don't see legendary drops too often. And I can understand people's dissatisfaction with that. It's a very disappointing feeling. So what they're going to do is change that up a little bit. Now when you get a legendary engram, you will always get a legendary or better quality item, including materials or exotics. So you may not get legendary gear, armor, or weapons, but you will always at least get that or a material or an exotic. So hopefully what that does is increase the speed, or at least what Bungie's hoping is it increases the speed people level up. And I think a lot of people are hoping for that too. They also said that rare engrams will always produce rare or better quality items, and rare engrams will have an increased chance to produce legendary quality items. So they're also going to change the activities a little bit. So daily heroics, weekly heroics, and Vanguard Tiger playlist activities will include rare and legendary engrams in addition to their existing rewards. So not only will legendary engrams actually contain legendary gear, but there will be now ways to get them definitely by doing the daily heroics, weekly heroics, and Vanguard Tiger playlists. And they're also going to change the items a little bit. So Ascendant materials are very hard to get. Ascendant materials have been promoted to legendary to closer associate them with the gear they are used to upgrade. So if you need to upgrade armor or you need to upgrade a gun with Ascendant materials, you are now going to be looking for legendary engrams that contain those drops. That could actually make it slower. It's hard to tell. You know, we don't know what the actual drop rates are going to be, and we don't know what the chances are of getting a Ascendant material in a legendary engram are. Legendary engram items that exist in your inventory will be demoted to rare quality when the patch goes live, so decode them while you can. But let's be honest, if you don't, we all know they're blues already. So they're kind of making jokes about how hard it is to get legendary material, and even if you get a legendary engram, it may not contain a legendary. In fact, it probably doesn't include a legendary weapon as it is. So on the surface, when I first read this, I was actually pretty happy about it. I'm like, great, you know, it'll be a little bit easier to get legendaries. One of my problems with Destiny is that after level 20, leading up to level 20, the whole way up, you know, you're kind of building your character based on what you want to do. Let's say you want to be a shotgun melee guy, especially in the Crucible, right? The best thing you can do is get armor that kind of promotes your chances of succeeding here, like giving you faster melee strikes or faster reload times with the shotgun or bigger ammo capacity with the shotgun. Because if that's what you want to do, you want to promote your basic activity, right? You want to get the armor that helps you do what you want to do. Once you get to level 20, your ability to do this pretty much ends. You're basically, whatever legendary gear you get, or whatever light gear you get, you pretty much equip so that you build that light level up as fast as you can so you can actually do some of the more difficult missions or strikes, such like the Tiger playlist, or the Vanguard, the weekly heroics, or even the Nightfall strike playlist. So all of these things basically go by the wayside. Looking to maximize your character attributes to, based on how you play the game, basically goes out the window at that point. However, it also slows down your progression through the game. If you hit level 30 and maxed your character out exactly the way you want to play him in the Crucible, there'd basically be no reason to go back to playing the strikes or the missions until DLC came out and you just wanted to see what the new content was. So the way it currently sits is that you want to play all those strikes and missions and patrols because you're looking to upgrade your character, you're looking to find ascended energy, and you're hoping every once in a while to get a legendary engram filled with something that you really want. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people hung out by the loot cave, is because they wanted as many of those legendary engrams as they could, because, I want an auto rifle that is legendary. I want a hand cannon that is legendary. I want a fusion rifle that is legendary. And I want a machine gun that is legendary. So I want all this stuff that is legendary. And then once I get it, I can start upgrading it with ascendant materials. Now, they got rid of the loot cave, so you can't really do that anymore. And they are changing the way the legendary engrams work so that they will be more frequent in playlists and heroics and, the daily missions and the Tiger playlist. So they should be more frequent, and they should actually contain legendary equipment. So on the surface, it seems good, right? Because now I'll get more legendary equipment. I'll be able to, customize my character the way I want him. However, it's going to take less time, which means, how much time am I going to be putting into this game? The whole point of a game like Destiny, a loot-based game, is to actually, build that character up, to farm for loot, and to try and earn as much loot as you can to make your character as awesome as he can be, especially a multiplayer game like this. So the game I'm going to compare it to is Diablo 2, or Diablo 3, sorry. In Diablo 3, there is a ton of loot farming going on. You play through the campaign one time, and then once you're done with that, you basically start loot farming. And people put, 50, 100 hours into loot farming in that game just to, customize their character, to get their character as awesome as it can be. And I think that's what Destiny needs to be doing too. But if they increase the chances of you getting all of this great stuff, then they're basically shortening the lifespan of the game as a whole. And that could be a bad thing, right? If people just hit level 30 right away, after 3 weeks of play or after 2 weeks of play, what's really going to be the point of continuing to play? You might really enjoy the Crucible, but if everybody in the Crucible is level 30 and all using the same weapons, then it may get more boring fast. It may become more of a Call of Duty experience. One of the biggest draws of Destiny for me is the fact that I love to play both game modes. I really enjoy playing strikes and missions with my friends at high difficulties, either finding new weapons or upgrading the weapons I have, and then bringing that into the Crucible to see how they perform. And that's different from Call of Duty for me. Call of Duty for me is very much about the multiplayer. I don't even play the single-player campaign anymore. It doesn't really draw my attention because I just find it so much more satisfying to play against human-controlled opponents. Killing swarms of AI-controlled opponents I don't know, it's just not that much fun in Call of Duty. But in Destiny, when I'm doing it against really high-level strikes and missions with my friends or with people I just met, it's just much more compelling because we have to work as a team. We're communicating. We're really having to figure out how best to approach each situation. Be it a swarm of wizards or, a really huge ogre, whatever it is, it's just a really fun thing to do. And then I get to bring the gear that I found from there into the Crucible and see how it performs. You know, see how well that gear performs. Even if I didn't get new gear and I just upgraded the gear I already have, you know, maybe I've got better accuracy on my assault rifle, or maybe I've got better range on my fusion rifle. It's really compelling to now go into the Crucible and test out all of that new stuff and see how it goes. You know, it's a real dopamine rush, and I've really been having an awesome time with that. That's something that Call of Duty just doesn't provide for me. Now, the next Call of Duty is going to have a loot system, and we'll have to see how that actually works, and, you know, if it's as compelling as something like Destiny. But my problem is with the future of Destiny, if they speed up the progression of getting new loot and getting to level 30, you know, does it just become a Call of Duty where everybody's got the same guns, everybody's got them maxed out? So what's really the compelling part of playing in the strikes and the missions anymore? You know, when the Destiny DLC comes out, yeah, everybody want to see the new content. They'll run through it once, maybe twice, and then, okay, you know, back to what I was doing, because there's no real point to upgrading anymore. It doesn't take a long time. I can do it in a week. I can do it in 2 weeks, get a fully maxed out level 30 character. And that worries me. That worries me for the future of Destiny. Now, a lot of people have been talking about maybe they'll increase the level cap over time. Maybe with each DLC, we'll get, you know, maybe 5 higher levels, right? So instead of 30, it'll be 35. And then with the second DLC, it'll be 40. Or maybe it'll go straight to 40 and then to 50. And, you know, so there's always something to attain. There's always a reason to keep building your character up. But if it's too easy to build your character up, then we got a real problem, because if it only takes a week to build your character up to the max level, no matter what that is, then that's how long people are going to be playing for. If it takes 4 weeks or 2 months to upgrade your character, it may be frustrating to some people who find it too slow and too grindy, but it also, it won't keep people around. You know, it's got to keep people in it. That's why you play a loot-based game, is to always be upgrading, to always have that hook of maybe around the next corner, I'm finally going to get that awesome piece of equipment that I've been looking for. So it's a tough balance, and I don't know if they have the balance right now with kind of the randomness of the Cryptarch, kind of that gambling aspect of the Cryptarch. I think that the Cryptarch adds something to slow down the progress, and it also adds like a gambling aspect to the game, kind of like a dopamine rush. So if you finally do get that really great piece of equipment out of a legendary engram, you really get a rush. You get really excited about it, and you almost don't expect it at this point, because it's so rare that you get that really awesome piece of equipment. But if they take that gambling aspect away, I wonder if, you know, you'll even get excited about it at all. You'll always know exactly how to get legendary gear by going to certain daily heroics, weekly heroics, or playlists. You'll always know exactly where to get that purple gear, and there won't be any rush to it. Maybe you'll be looking for a very specific piece of gear, and when you finally get that specific piece of gear, you'll get excited about it. But without that gambling kind of rush, then I don't really know that the loot system in Destiny will work. You know, we'll have to see. We'll have to test it out. Like I said, when I first read this, I was actually pretty excited. It wasn't until I really thought about it for a while that I said, you know, I don't know if this is such a hot idea. Maybe just increase the percentage chance that you do get legendary out of engrams. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how to approach fixing it correctly, and I'm not exactly sure that it needs to be fixed at all. You know, it is a slow grind after level 20. But I kind of think that was intentional, you know, like if you only want to see all the story missions, you can do that before you even hit level 20. And if that's all you want on the Destiny, then that's all you need. You know, you can easily get that. If you just want to play in the Crucible's set up in a way that you don't really have to start leveling up past level 20. You know, it'll start happening automatically, but you don't really have to do it. It helps to have really nice equipment in the Crucible, but you can definitely compete at lower levels. The only real reason that you want to upgrade your character is to start playing the really high strikes, or the raids, or if you just are ultra competitive, you want to have, you know, the absolute best gear for the Crucible. So we're going to have to see. This is a wait and see kind of thing. The patch is coming out this week. We're not exactly sure what day. Hopefully, it all works out the way we hope it does. You know, hopefully this will improve the game and improve the lifespan of the game as opposed to shortening it. But we'll have to wait and see. So I'm sorry for such a long video. I had a lot I wanted to say here. Let me know what you guys think about the coming changes to Destiny. How would you improve or keep the loot system the same? Let me know down in the comments below. I really look forward to reading that. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Enemy SATCOM spotted. Enemy SATCOM spotted.